Hello, Warriors. Let's have a great week. I'm Dale Pinkert. This broadcast is being brought to you on behalf of TradeGateHub.com. We invite everyone to join us. In fact, it may be to your advantage to join us because Friday after the NFP, the only trade I really took was the short that we had right up here at 114 after the NFP. Have taken profits along the way. I believe a few weeks I talked about the potential of the US dollar yen while it was chopping around up here for it to be able to pull back towards this 1240, 1250 level on this throw over of a wedge. I think that's going to be a pretty good buying opportunity because I don't think the yen has bottomed unless we start. This has peaked unless we start closing back under 112. So looking for a pullback to this level, one more high into possibly the mid 116 level. So that'll probably be the end of yields, at least for a week or so, heading down. We're up a little bit here today on the 10-year yield. I still think there's a chance that we can move to the upside. A lot is going to depend on yen action. And I know that probably there's a lot of people upset that they, did not catch this gold and silver run from the Fed. That was a great trade buying the break at possibly the right shoulder on silver here. I talked about it before we got here. I didn't act on that day and I'm watching it. So there could be one more opportunity for a dip in the gold, but we're going to have to bottom in the US dollar yen first. And that's going to be possibly another, 60 pips or so on the downside. So that's when gold and silver should make hay. And then should I be right about that being a nice buy point in US dollar yen down here and a rally above these highs, perhaps that creates some type of dip in the precious metals. And who knows, it could be the last bus stop. Because I do think that after we get up to that 116 yen level, that we could be looking at a major top developing in US dollar yen that could take us, all the way back towards 102, which is going to be probably during risk off. So let's talk about something that no one, really thinks can happen. I know there are a lot of people have targets up near around 47.90 or so in the S&Ps. I just want to show you some short-term action that should tell you that the Nasdaq is not the place to be. For example, we're not even up 0.1% in Nasdaq with the S&Ps up 0.4%. So Nasdaq definitely underperforming. I'd call it the weak sister. We had a little trade on Friday from up here on a drive 2. Didn't ride it all the way down. Thought we might have a drive 3 that day. That's not happening. Here you have the S&Ps on the verge of challenging new highs for the move, right? And with that happening, you may not get new highs in Nasdaq. The highs that we had on Friday up here around 16,460. So I may be looking to trade for a scalp. I don't think this is the final high by any stretch of the imagination, but I've done my intelligence gathering and there is potential for a corrective wave before we get, just like the yen, corrective wave before we get one more push up towards the upper 4,700s, 4,800 S&Ps, 4,780 or so. So why not just a pullback to 46-ish is not a big right about here, and then rally one more time into December and making new highs. Just wanted to touch on the oil. Like I said, I don't believe oil has bottomed. We keep popping here. I've been trading this from the short side for about 3 weeks now. Most of the trades have worked out. Put another one on here a little late at 82.10, but if you were here this morning, 82.10, you now have about 60 pips. I'm a very big believer in taking partial profits. So what I would do now is take a piece off. And, if you don't want to put in a BE stop at 82.10 and you want to give it these highs, you could put a stop over 82.60. So the worst case scenario is it's BE on the trade because you took half off for 55 and you'd be risking 55 on the second half. It's still my contention that the oil's heading lower. In fact, I'm starting to hear some murmuring with it in the markets that there might be a release from the SPR, the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which I thought was going to be behind the sell-off here. You know, it's not a smart thing to do. That's why it'll probably happen. And, you know, you can tell this is a bull market because it keeps fighting back. All right. It's not caving. People are continuing to buy breaks, and you get pretty sharp, nice rallies that it's not easy to stay short. And then you thought, you know, now we're on the verge of a collapse, and we turned it again one more time. I still think there has to be a capitulation, and I think that first capitulation is going to be around the 76 level, maybe around this 50-day moving average of 77. And then you have the 200 moving up. I think it's going to be low 70s for a buy that'll take us to above these $85 highs. But I think this is first over the next several weeks. And there'll be bounces, so you have to trade it. Unless you just want to watch profits evaporate, you'll learn how to take partial profits. And then if it turns into a runner, you're still there, not quite as heavily there, but you're still there. The dollar after the Fed gave up the ghost a little bit. You know, I still remain constructive on it, but, you know, you can't rule out a bounce maybe back to, you know, 16 and a half, 1670 in euro. Perhaps we make it back to 137, 138 again in the pound. But something that I'm laying for is I do believe also that Aussie may have topped up here at the 200 average. Originally, I was looking for about 76.20. I'm going to call this a top. So sometime this week on continued weakness in the dollar, and say, for example, the Aussie can rally back to say 74.70, 74.80, all the way up to 75. I'm going to be looking to short the Aussie, and the reason for that is it's my view that we haven't completed this correction in Aussie from the highs that we had up here, and that I think we'll see sub 70 in the Aussie. So this is going to be, I think, a decent trade. It may bode for a pullback in metals when that's underway, but the Aussie is something I'm laying for. I'm just looking for this short-term rally to rally, you know, back into, this was major resistance right here at 74.80. So that's a level I'll be looking to probe the short side in the Aussie. I wanted to talk a little bit about US dollar CAD, which is trying to hold. You know, there is a possibility that it could try new lows first, but I've been talking 125 in USD CAD, and you know, we're almost there, so I'm neutral. I'm not doing anything there. Swiss is bouncing a little bit today. Actually interviewed a guy who said that a huge trade, which I haven't done, but I want to take a look at it and share it with you guys. Because as you guys know, besides putting out this analysis for TradeGate Hub, I interview a lot of people, and I get great ideas. You know, I really believe, you know, that's part of my intelligence gathering. It's made me a better trader, and I want you to take a look at what's happening in Euro Swiss. I know that I've seen a lot of brokers are raising margins on Swiss. It's almost like they smell a problem happening here. So you have to go pretty far back to, you know, remember when many FX firms had massive problems on the depegging of the Swiss, and it looks like it's starting to feel that way. This was them fighting it, and I believe this was when they let it go, and many people went upside down or bankrupt. And you know, even another thing that I'm noticing right now, what's one of my favorite formations here? Anyone know that's here in the main chat room or on YouTube? What's a formation that I use RSI on that are inflection points and reversal formations? Any answers? Okay, well, here's a hint. It starts with 3. Okay, so 3 drives to a bottom. So why can't that be a possibility here? We've had 1, we've had 2, that maybe we're going to challenge this again and head down to these lows. So if you want to add a lot of beta on a long dollar trade, you short Euro Swiss, and you're wrong over 110. Don't use a lot of leverage because it's wild, but I did want to show this to you guys because Euro Swiss looks quite vulnerable. So I think one of our members sees a head and shoulders on, is that Euro Swiss? Head and shoulders top or bottom? Okay, anyway, that's my look. That's a monthly. So possibly here he's seen a head and shoulders formation. And maybe this was the breakdown here at 107. Is that correct, OGF? Thanks for sharing your idea on Euro Swiss. That's the way this community is supposed to work when I'm live. And you guys that are watching the interviews and watching my analysis and Mike's, the key is, aren't there times during the market that you wish you could come and ask us a question about something we talked about? Maybe you need your memory refreshed. Maybe you have a different viewpoint that you want to share. So you could always just come on into our main chat and share it with us and collaborate. Don't isolate, collaborate in TradeGateHub.com. Let's see. So we covered the oil, we covered S&Ps and Nasdaq really, kind of bringing up the rear. This could be a failing rally, but I'm going to wait for a potential turnaround Tuesday on this. Let's see. I did want to say something that I just want to show the Nasdaq here. Okay, let's look at it daily. So these were the old highs, right? And remember down here, I wasn't bearish anymore. I said, I was expecting a big event under the conjunction of these lines and really had no follow through and covered. And then part of the way up, I was, I'm going to miss it. So, I had some FOMO, but I didn't click the mouse. And then we did this. So what a massive move, right? And, it's not all Tesla. But I would say there's cracks in the Nasdaq taking out the old highs, which were 15.7 by 700 points. So wouldn't you think that Apple would be making a new high? So something I said was the Nasdaq could make a new high without some of the FANG or MAGA stocks confirming it. And so far, that's exactly what's happening here. Apple hasn't made a new high. Right? That 158 still intact. Microsoft has. It's been a monster, but I said Apple wouldn't, Amazon wouldn't. Amazon trying to fill the gap here. I don't think Amazon's going to make a new high. This could be a great put play right here. Tesla, Elon Musk playing games, putting out polls as to whether or not he should liquidate 10% of his Tesla position in December. I don't know if he's trying to manipulate people. I think it's possible. Put something out like that, and they were selling it off. It almost makes me think that Elon saying he wants to sell this stuff is putting it out so he could buy some more cheaper. Okay, and if he was thinking of telling people he's thinking of buying it, it means he wants to distribute stock. So I don't know. I'm not. I think he's accomplished great things. I don't think Tesla is worth every auto company on the planet in market cap. So we all know Facebook took a hit with bad press. It's trying to rally back, but it's not at new highs. Google did make a new high, but it's very glaring divergence that we have up there. And I think that's it. Netflix peaked as well. So I think we're pretty close to where we could get an inflection point for at least a correction. And I don't think it's over in these markets until December. So what I'm saying is that I think, just like I thought last week, but I was wrong about that, that we'd have some type of correction in stock indexes, and that would set up the move into December, maybe up around 4,800 in the S&P. So, you know, I'm just looking for an intermittent sell-off in S&Ps, and as you can see, they're starting to fade right now, and Nasdaq just went negative. So Nasdaq, being your preferred short, could short it here with stops over Friday's high, looking for at least maybe 15.6, 15.8. So that's the way the markets look to me right here. Is there anything else? Any questions on anything that I'm covering here? So this would also make sense with US dollar yen heading down. And one thing you have to say about Nasdaq, another thing, is that they should act better with yields falling, and yields have fallen quite a bit up until right now, you know, from 170 to 145, 25 bips, and it's still an underperformer. What's going to happen if rates bottom here and head back up to 2%? That's going to put more pressure on mega cap tech, in my view. The gold shares finally, you know, started to come to life a little bit. They've been lagging the bullion. And, you know, right now, you know, even though gold's pressing new highs in a breakout, this still looks like we could pull back again. I'm still not that impressed with the miners. They're getting a lift because of bullion. And, you know, there have been examples of that. For example, the physical WTI market way outperformed like OIH and many of the oil shares. So it's almost like we're in the same type of regiment, with the underlying commodity being much stronger than the miners and the precious metals, just like the price of oil has outperformed the price of oil shares. So it can happen. I'll be here with Mike tomorrow, and we're going to talk about a few of these issues that are coming up. Mike will update us with his what he calls the new fangs. So just in quick review, still think the yen has the potential of downside here. If you were in the main chat and you sold it up at 114, again, you never go broke taking profits. That came from Bernard Baruch. He had a couple of good clients like the Kennedys and the Rockefellers, and they asked him what his he counts as success in the market for, and he said, "I always sell too soon." So you never go broke taking profits. We'll see what happens here in the yen down here, but nothing wrong if you did it up at the level on the post in main chat at 114. Nothing wrong with 83 pips right here to get your week started. So that's a wrap. That's what I see. It's going to be very important to see what the yen does. Be careful about getting too aggressive in equities up here. And, you know, I still think that you could be patient if you're a long-term bull in oil for the lower 70s in the following weeks and months. And as I always end every broadcast, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. I think being part of this TradeGate Hub family is a blessing in my life. In fact, I don't think, I know it is. And invite everyone to join us, and hope if that we're adding value. If we are on the videos, you could give us a thumbs up, you could spread the word and come in and work with us and show your stuff. So that's a wrap for me, everyone. Good luck the rest of the day. Good hunting. And I'll see you tomorrow with Michael. And we're going to be focusing on stocks and see what Michael thinks about some of the things I said today. And good luck, everyone. And hope that this video helps you out. It's not an easy thing you're trying to do. I commend you for your courage to become a trader. Adios.